I think what I most want my students to get out of the experience of poetry is for my students to understand that, just as Lucille Clifton said, that a poem can heal because it comes from one heart, it can reach another heart. And that ability for poems to form connections across time, across distance, across region, across religion, means that it's a synthesizing force. It means that it can heal divisions, that it can bring us together around the experience of language. Lucille Clifton has a wonderful poem that I always share with my students called Wishes for Sons. And it begins with, I wish them a strange town and no 7-Eleven. I wish them, like, it's all talking about menstruation, in all these ways, and it ends with this wonderful thing in which she says, let them think that they've understood arrogance in the world, then bring them to the gynecologist, not unlike themselves, and I'm like, that is the kind of thing where, for someone, any person of any gender who's never had an experience with that particular phenomenon can certainly understand, the different ways that Lucille Clifton is bringing us into the experience of what it might mean to be a woman. So I want my students to have those kinds of experiences with language, humor, connection, stepping outside of oneself, all of those things, so that they can have those most important arguments with the self, like Yeats said, that they can look at their own hearts and think about their capacity to connect. What I most want is for my students to grow their capacity to connect.